everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And we are at episode, I have no idea, 190? Jesus. Saint Emilion, the oldest area in all of Bordeaux. And really one of the legendary areas where wine is made in this world. And today I was just in the mood to talk about it, taste 3 fantastic Saint Emilions, and just, hang out and chill with you guys a little bit because there's a lot to talk about. Let's talk about number 1. I like giving away stuff. So I'm going to give away this bag. And there's a trick here to show you how I'm going to give away this bag because I'm going to ask you a question. Nice little 2-bag installation. We'll ship it to you for free. You'll have it. You'll feel proud. You'll tell people the story of how you got it. But we'll save that for later because I don't want people to stop it now, answer, that whole thing. What else should we talk about? We should talk about the fact that the other day we panned the room and showed you some stuff and you didn't know exactly what it was. So I have a link over here. Please click that. That's to VO, a little behind the scenes action, a little interview action. I think you'll like it. Please check that out. Also, contests, huh? This one's probably the most important. I mean, when you really think about your life, do you really want to be respected for your thoughts or your actions or how golden your heart is? No. You want to be thought of as a piece of meat. You want to be voted on for your looks, for the genetics that mom and pops and grandpa and grandma brought to the table. So that's what I'm asking you today. Allow me to have that victory because that's far more important than anything else. And so a wonderful website by the name of Valleywag is conducting is the word I'm looking for. They're conducting a contest for the best looking vloggers on the internet. And I have made one of the rounds. I guess it's like a round robin tournament. It's a March Madness, it's getting very competitive. We're in heat number 3 or 4. There's a link over here. I really don't want to lose this one. And when you see my competitors, you may want to know why. So, I really have to win this round and probably a couple more rounds so I can finally be declared as the best looking vlogger in the universe. And obviously if that happens, that would be fantastic for me. So, back to the task at hand, because that's what we do. We taste wine. We don't have beauty contests here, Eric. We don't give away free stuff. We do give away free stuff. Somebody's going to get this bag if they can tell me what Mario from Nintendo's name was before he was Mario. First person to put it in the comments, not the 19th or the 27,000th like all the other contests. Just the first person to put it in there will get this bag sent to them. If you win, I'll contact you and we'll ship it away. So, back to the things at task. Saint Emilion, mainly Cabernet, Franc, and Merlot wines, sometimes with small percentages of Cabernet Sauvignon. So I'm really excited about trying these. Let's start right off the bat with a good one. The Chateau Marmont 2001 Saint Emilion. And this is a very, very interesting wine. $37 US, 92 points, Robert Parker. If Robert Parker is anything, and he's a lot of things, he's probably the most influential critic of things, let alone wine. He might have more economic impact on his reviews than any other human being on this earth. But if he's respected for anything in any category more than any other, it's definitely Bordeaux. Maybe Rhone as well, because that is where his other passion lies. But this guy nails Bordeaux. He owns it. He just owns it. And, I just think that his reviews and scores in this category are so strong. So he should be very much watched and revered for this area. So 92 Parker, $37, and him calling this a sleeper vintage and the best Marmont he's ever had is a real turning point for this winery, considering 2001, though a sleeper vintage, is not a profound vintage. About 9,000 cases of this wine is made every year, and let's get into it. Really nice color. This is once again, a very heavily dominated Cabernet Franc Merlot blend, as are most wines in the region. What I really like about Marmont is their terroir, their soil. Very interesting. Really sandy, most of it. There are some other aspects in other vineyards, but for the predominant soil content on this winery is sand, and it's pretty wild. Great classic Bordeaux nose, very perfumey on this one, wine's nose. I'm getting a lot of floral aspects, a little lilac coming through. Also a little bit of like, women's magazine, free sample, perfume, rip it off, smell it. That's always a lot of fun for some people. But, it's coming through obviously in this nose. This is very perfume oriented, very aromatic. Little hints of black cherry and a little tiny hint of cedar, which is really nice. It's really casually done, slyly on the fly, underneath, and I like it. Wow. I'm very impressed with this effort. Very, very complete black cherry explosion, like a 16 punch combo without a response from the palate. We just both, palate and I, both had to just sit back and, thank this wine for the exotic flavor profile. It was exploding in our mouth. Lots of cherry, lots of black chocolate, and very firm, structured vanilla tannin flavors, which are very nice because obviously they're not too harsh. Alcohol is coming through a little bit more than maybe I would like right now, but this is a baby, obviously, as most Bordeaux are under 10, 15 years. But the structure and complexity of the fruit in this wine is really profound. This is a great Grand Cru Classé Saint Emilion. Wow. This is the real deal. Classic old world style wine that brings it to the table and does not apologize for not wearing fluorescent green and orange like a New World wine and yelling all over the room and being obnoxious, kind of like I would be. This is a much more reserved, classy bottle of wine. Walks into the room, sits in a corner, smokes a cigar, and says, "You know what? I know what I'm doing." This is an easy 92 pointer. I'm going to agree with Parker dead on this one. And again, for $37 US, that is a steal. This is a wine that you can drink with any kind of big food, from even duck. I know Pinot Noir, a lot of people like to do that, but I could see this going great with a duck, all the way up to all the steaks you can imagine. This is the real deal, folks, and this is really a big steal, too. A big steal. I'm very impressed. It's a really, really good way to start. Let's move on. This is the Chateau Valentin 2003 Saint Emilion. And Stefan Darencourt is the enologist working on this, and he's one of the most talented winemakers out there. He's consulting. $45 US, 92 points, Wine Spectator. Excited to try this. Valentin is a very, very popular winery in the region. 4.6 hectares planted in their vineyards. Again, predominantly Cabernet Franc and Merlot, with a little hint, I think 5% of Cabernet on this one. Much more fruity on the nose. I'm also getting a real tobacco aspect on this wine that I didn't get on the last one. A lot more cherries, strawberries, and red cassis than the last wine. Almost a hint of New Worldness, but very reserved in those flavors, so not over the top. Interesting. Let's give it a whirl. Nice grounded black pepper flavors coming through on this wine. I'm also getting a lot of leather on this wine. Maybe more leather than any other wine I've tasted in quite a while. This is not just a baseball mitt in left field. This is like going and getting your shoes shined, kicking the guy, and then just eating your shoe. I mean, this is a lot of leather. I don't know. It's got very rounded black flavors coming through. Black currant, black raspberry, blackberry. So it's much more dark fruit wine. But it's also very lively. It's very new worldly in its own old world style. And I think it's finding a tough time finding the perfect harmony and balance. I'm not as high on this wine. It's nice, it's fruity. There's a lot of people who I can see liking this wine better because it's got a little bit more of that, sugarified fruit, as I like to call it. But for me, it's not really doing that much. I'm going to score this wine 89 points. Which is a great score. It's a nice bottle of wine. I guess my demeanor might have seemed a little bit lower than that. It's just, you expect a little bit more from a really hot, up-and-coming Bordeaux that's got great press and $45 a bottle. So this is a big pass, in my opinion, and that's just the way it's going to be today. Pebby Fougères, 2001, Saint Emilion Grand Cru, and this is a hot, hot winery. Pebby Fougères is really the best vineyards of Chateau Fougères. It's a small little spot, real small production winery, great stuff. I mean, they've been hot now for about 5 years. Look at the color right off the bat. Again, just very extracted fruit from this vineyard. Really interesting wines. Very, very sought after. 94 points, Robert Parker. And this is $90 US. So we're treating ourselves a little bit here today. 1, because we're going to be the best looking vlogger on the internet. 2, because we love Nintendo. And 3, why not? You only live once, and if you can't enjoy wine, what can you enjoy? Okay, so right off the bat, don't mess with me. This is the darkest wine you've seen in a long time. Admit it. I know the camera, but this is really, really dark, especially for Merlot and Cab Franc. As you can see by the other wines, they don't bring the heat like Shiraz and Syrah do in this color. So you're getting an obviously very extracted grape, great colors, healthy vineyards, and it's really, really dumbfounding color. I can honestly say this is, hold on. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the least aromatic wine I've had on the show since we've done this, and we're almost 200 episodes in. I mean, we're getting very, very little. Kind of went back and did a little whoop, whoop, double take because I thought I was getting, believe it or not, the smell that I get when I walk into Legal Seafood, the restaurant chain, I kind of got a little hint of that. It's what popped in my mind. There's a little bit of a seafoody kind of, Cape Cod thing running through my mind. I'm sure that's not what it exactly smells like, but something's triggering in my mind, and I'd love to figure it out, and I can't. The best thing I can tell you, and this is popping in my mind, this kind of smells like empty, steamed clams shells. After you've eaten the clams, that residual shelly kind of smell coming through, I don't know, I'm getting a little bit of that. I'm sure the wonderful people at Pebby Fougères would love to hear that's the aromatic profile I'm giving it. Let's give it a whirl. I sat on my high horse for this the other day, and why not get on it again? Let's get on that pony one more time. This wine, if tasted blind, I would think has very serious Syrah characteristics. So, how do we take that? 1, the fruit is very profound and very extracted. It does taste like some New World Merlots. This is a New World Bordeaux. Very, very extracted, much thicker, more viscous in your mouth than the other two wines. This is a meal in itself. You don't really have to eat anything with this wine because it's really, you gotta kind of chew through it. It's very thick. It's got great red pomegranate is coming through a little bit in my palate, almost like passion fruit, little passion fruit. Very heavy, very extracted, fakey kind of flavors. I mean, just very intense cherry cola flavor without the cola, so I guess I should say cherry. It's a very over-the-top style of Bordeaux. It's not bad. It's very silky. There's a little too much oak. And when he comes out, it gets a little scary. The oak monster is present in this wine. Yeah. This is a I'm going to trick you, sucker kind of wine. Because the fruit is so in your face. And it's so delicious that I can clearly see people being, wow, on that first sip. And then you're there. And then you're eating and you're hanging out with your friends. You went there. You went, wow, and that was it. But you know, that's a dangerous thing. Eric, what's a really good movie that started off awesome and finished the second half poor? That's a big thing movie people talk about. I wish I was a movie guy.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket? This wine reminds me of Full Metal Jacket because, you know, boom, and then boom. And you know what? Any other movies like that, please share them in the comments. This Full Metal Jacket is not going to get 94 points with me. Parker is overrating this wine, in my opinion, because it is clear, after you get through some of that flavor, that there's some awkwardness going on there. Some, you know, almost like greenness that is not delicious and exciting. A little bit more like the Green Monster in Fenway Park, when you think you bombed it, but it hits the top of it, and you only got a double, or you get thrown out a second. It's devastating. And that's what this reminds me of. I'm going to go 90 points on this wine, because it's very good. It is a good wine, but once again, the thought process behind this wine is not what I'm looking for. It's very overpriced for $90 in my opinion. I mean, I'm not paying $1 a point, are you? And so with that, I've got to say it's pretty darn interesting. I mean, this is, if you don't like wine, or you're not interested by wine, or you don't understand wine, or you wonder what price has an impact, this may be the signature episode of WLTV, because these two wines, $90 and $45 at 90 and 89 points, I got to be honest with you, are nowhere in the league with this wine at $37. And I'll be honest with you, anybody who is really, really into wine and has tasted different styles and is not one of these people with the line in the sand, I only like Old World or I only like New World, if they really take everything that life has to offer and really make an open-minded opinion, they will easily see the differences in these three wines. And this is pretty cool. This was awesome. I had a good time with that. Unbelievable. Definitely seek out this wine. I'm sure it's on tons and tons of restaurant lists because they're always looking for good Bordeaux, and the 2001s are really prevalent on a lot of the lists now. And so that, I guess, we're going to have to ask the question of the day, right, Eric? And so, what do I have there? What is your favorite snack? Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, aren't we?